Hello, good evening, everyone. I, Asutosh Dubey, welcome you all at 20th World Education Summit 2021. So here we have a last session for this mega summit, and we have very good panel here. The topic is the advantage and disadvantage of online learning among students during COVID-19 pandemic, and we have a very good panelist here. So first of all, I will introduce all the panelists here. So, Dr. Nikhil Wagh, Chairman, Educon International School, Pune. Welcome to the summit, sir. And then we have Mr. Brain Cooklin, Managing Director, Nord Anglia Education. Welcome to the summit, sir. And next panelist is Navita Puri, Principal, Kundan Vidya Mandir, Ludhiana. Welcome to the summit, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Then we have Manju Rana, Principal cum Director, Seth Anandram, Jaipuria School, Ghaziabad. Welcome to the summit, ma'am.
Namaste.
We have two more panelists. Vandana Singh, Principal Asian Public School, Gurugram, still joining in between. And Annabelle, Primary School Principal, Lancer International School, Gurgaon. So they will join in between. Meanwhile, I'm just inviting Dr. Nikhil Wagh to moderate this session. Over to you, sir. And I think Annabelle ma'am already joined. Welcome to the summit, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone.
So Nikhil Wagh, sir, over to you, sir.
Audible?
Yes, you ask.
Yeah. Thank you, Ashutosh. It's a pleasure to be amongst all of you today for the 20th World Education Summit 2021 School Edition. I thank Elets and Digital Learning for inviting me to moderate this panel discussion on advantages and disadvantages of online learning among students in COVID-19 pandemic. It's a privilege to have distinguished panelists with me who are joining in and to discuss and deliberate on the topic. I welcome all the esteemed panelists and we hope to have a very interactive session. I also welcome all the audience. We are looking for good questions and we are looking to answer all your questions. And I'm sure you will get valuable insights from this discussion because the topic itself is a very interesting topic. Well, COVID-19 pandemic has posed a quintessential adaptive and transformative challenge, not only to teachers across the globe, but also to learners and students. Excellence and equity, cornerstone of a good education system, are being challenged in every part of the world. Our greatest concern is that the differences in the parental involvement and access to technology exacerbates inequality. The elimination of digital divide amongst all stakeholders is a major challenge for K-12 schools. And as important as continuing quality education is, it is just important to maintain mental, emotional, and physical well-being for students, parents, and teachers. One more challenge is the training of teachers and establishing education ecosystem to adapt new emerging technologies, provoking a reconceptualization of teaching learning process, while serving as a catalyst for transformation and innovation. At the same time, as in every major challenge, there lies an opportunity to improve. On this background, we are today going to discuss various aspects of online learning, the advantages, the disadvantages, what online learning is providing to the students, how do we improve online learning, how do you make online learning more engaging, interesting, and motivating for the learners, how to train teachers and keep them motivated to deliver the content, and how online learning right now works and what are the challenges that lie ahead. Is online going to be a part of post-COVID world also? Is blended learning going to be a new adaptation to the transformation and the change that Indian education ecosystem is going to have? I have let me start the discussion by introducing Mr. Brian. I would like you to go first, if you don't mind, and share your opening remarks on online learning and whether it's providing students the required value. Over to you, Mr. Brian.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nikhil, and thank you for the invitation to take part in today's discussion. It's a very apposite topic, and it is a topic that's being discussed worldwide in educational circles because it's not only having the impact in India, it's having it in every country. What we're seeing in terms of the advantages and disadvantages, I would summarize as follows. In the first instance, there's been a tremendous enhancing of skills of everyone involved in terms of technology, for teachers, for students, and for parents, because it is a partnership, and the only way it's worked is because all of us are working together to try and get the best experience for each student. What's interesting is to see that for some students, this has actually enhanced their learning. They've made more progress than they would in a classroom setting. And those students tend to be the ones who might be disengaged in class normally, or those who are shy, quiet, and reserved. There was a very interesting letter sent to the New York Times by a 14-year-old student who said, "Today, I took part in class. No one ridiculed my work. No one called me names. No one called into question what I was doing." It was a very heartfelt plea from that particular student that here she was able to make progress, and she felt that this was an ideal setting for her. So I think we must bear that in mind as we move forward, because I do think blended learning, hybrid learning, and online learning is here to stay. The question is how we're going to incorporate it. The disadvantages of the situation you've already covered. First, the big one is the inequality. It's fine for schools that have the resources. It's fine for families that have the resources, because the problems they're dealing with are very different from those areas and those schools that lack even the most basic access to internet, to Wi-Fi, and to hardware. If I put that point to one side, what we can do at schools here to help with that, you see in the National Education Policy, where ourselves and other schools are adopting strategies to support and help local schools, providing them with resources or training or opportunities. And I think that has to be scaled up massively. The other big disadvantage has been in terms of well-being, especially the mental health and well-being of children. There's a learning loss for some children, of course, and particularly for younger children aged 3 to 5, where online doesn't deal with the socialization, the need to learn collaboratively, the ability to work in a group, even to learn to sit in a chair, to hold a pen, to hold a pencil. Much harder to teach that online. For older children, it's a better process, and they can learn a lot faster and a lot more. But what we've seen as an advantage that overcomes some of this is our global campus network. We're part of North Anglia Education with 76 schools in 31 countries. So an advantage of the online learning has been to see a huge upswing in the projects, whether it's STEAM projects or other projects for age 3 to 18, where they can link with children of the same age around the world. It's a big plus. So that summarizes, I think, some of the advantages and disadvantages. But I think a big plus here has been the creativity of everyone involved. The fact that teachers have stepped up to the mark, and so have students and parents, and how they've dealt with this situation. And that's certainly something we don't want to lose for the future.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Brian. Your inputs were really very well articulated. And like you said, the most important advantage would be personalization and flexibility that online learning offers to a child. That is one of the biggest advantages. And plus, it also gives specific and alternate learning experiences to all the stakeholders also. And the disadvantage is, as all of us know, digital divide and uniformity in accessing technology. I would now request Manju ma'am to take this further with her inputs on the same.
So thank you, Dr. Nikhil, and I would just like to reiterate what Mr. Brian has said, that we cannot deny the fact that the online platform, during this COVID crisis, have given all of us a lot of opportunity to kind of reimagine learning and equipping our students, whether it is with the cognitive, creative, technical, and I think emotional skills also. And I think we were able to navigate future in this unprecedented times. We really didn't have much options, but I think all the teachers did come together and we were able to navigate. What was exciting for me and what I feel would be a value addition is that remote learning, has actually become a reality. Maybe sometime, some of my teachers can be a part of Brian's school, or some of the great teachers from his school could be taking lessons for my children. So I think that has become like a reality. So it talks about best mind can come together anytime, anywhere. I think that's a great learning, and that's a great value addition, can be done. Preparing for the children for the competitive exams. I think, generally children used to travel. Since my school was Jaipuria is in Ghaziabad, the children would join some coaching. I think that traveling time has come down, and the children can go with their, coaching classes. And I think a lot of collaborative learning that is happening. And I would like to share, an experience over here that, we were having our inter-school IT fest. And what interesting was it that we were able to invite all our past presidents of the club, who are placed all over the globe. Otherwise it becomes, it doesn't become a possibility. And a lot of children who are not in the city and traveling with their parents, they're also able to participate in these events. A lot of our international partner schools, it becomes really physically, it becomes difficult to. So I think the costs have come down. Whenever we used to talk about collaboration earlier, it was, we felt that the expenses are too high. I think that has come down. Two more points that I think I would like to over here speak about is flexible schedules. That the children can follow. We have blended formats. So I think these online classes, if I can say that, has unlocked and has given many much more opportunities for the children to collaborate and work together. So for me, we should take it as an opportunity. And I think it is also value addition of time. A lot of time was also wasted. If we are only looking, I'm only looking for the value addition over here. So what are the benefits of these online classes? Of course, there's always a flip side to anything. But yes, a lot of traveling time has come down and the children can utilize it doing something constructive. So yes.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for your inputs on that. Like you said very rightly, teachers have demonstrated resilience to the core very well. They have adapted to this totally new platform of online teaching. And what is more important is online has given us, and the teachers and schools and educators, a platform to connect with the students. That is most important. The connect with the students drives the entire learning. Learning cannot happen in vacuum. Learning has to be active wherever it is necessary. But online also has provided this option of having recorded sessions. So if you don't, get time to log in at that particular time, you can always refer to the recorded session and see how the teacher has taught a particular topic. So that is one of the one more great advantage that we can highlight here. And hats off to all the teachers. They have adapted to technology very well, and this technology has given them this tool to keep and ensure that the learning never stops. Whatever the situation in the world is, the learning is continued. I would like to now call in Navita ma'am for her comments on the same. And if any other advantage or disadvantage, like for example, people say that the screen time has increased. It's affecting the physical health of students.
Yeah.
So some views on that or inputs on that. Navita ma'am, over to
Okay.
you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nikhil. First of all, I want to thank Elets Technomedia for giving me this opportunity. This topic is very close to my heart, and I have been fighting with my own thoughts that this online teaching is has got more advantages or disadvantages, and I could ponder more on this topic, and I have come to a conclusion that. Any technology for that matter, any online learning or any technology without wisdom and values, it is of no use. I strongly feel that this technology, took us all of a sudden in a surprise, and we were not able to teach our children that what are the do's and don'ts of this technology. So somewhere like school like ours, we could shift from this offline to this online Google classrooms, Microsoft classrooms. But due to the ignorance of the children, I feel they've not been able to reap the full benefits. I strongly feel that, because I feel that the wisdom, the knowledge of how to use and what to use, what not to use, was not there with the, because parents are also ignorant about this. This technology, they're also not very tech savvy, so whatever their children tell them, they believe. And then the kind of supervision is not there on the children. Though my teachers, they were wonderful. They have picked up all the online training, those methodologies they've picked up, and I only, like, I motivated them. Ki, look, like offline, you have to make your online learning also very interesting. Just lecturing method we will not be able to survive. So they picked up all the tools, all the methodologies. Today they can use all that, but still I feel that offline has got its own advantages. That is my
Yeah,
view.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Every coin has two
has
sides.
got its,
So,
two
yeah,
sides.
yeah. So
That's what I
online
feel.
advantages and disadvantages. That's the specific topic we are
But then
discussing.
the way we were
Yeah.
talking, I feel that if it wouldn't have been there, it would have been disastrous. Online also, if
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
wouldn't have been there,
Absolutely. It
it would
provided
have
us
been
a
there.
platform to connect with our students. That's more
Yeah, yeah.
important. And like you said, students are very well aware of technology. They share an intuitive relationship. This generation
Yes,
shares with technology more than our generation or previous generations. So they are at
yes,
advantage of that. And as we live in a digital world, they adapt to this technologies very soon. We have Madam Annabelle, and we would like welcome to this panel. We would like to know your inputs on the same about online learning. Any advantage, disadvantage? Do you think that we have the panel has not touched upon? You can continue that, or you also talk about how to improve online learning. There are so that it doesn't become monotonous and boring to our learners, because it's now 2 years. We will be completing 2 years. Initially there was a new thing coming in, everybody is excited about it, but if it doesn't have play consistently, people tend to lose interest. So some inputs on that matter. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nikhil, and thank you to Elets for inviting us. It has been a wonderful and tumultuous journey for every single teacher all around the world. The online learning provides students with a lot of tech integration, social communication, thinking, and self-management skills that can really ready them for the future environment. The schools have increased expenditures on teacher training, educational softwares, games, apps, and other digital resources. And I know that we should recognize too that parents have contributed as well with providing the tools children will need and can use for online learning. So that investment is massive. Of course, that's the big elephant in the room. And we have to always consider that that investment should not just go to waste. And yes, we were able to use it for a year and a half, but what else can we do? I agree with Mr. Brian that teachers have become much more inclusive in their approach. that they are required to personalize their instruction and support learning with ongoing assessments. Students are much more responsible in their learning. The able children can organize their time and resources very well. And in addition to getting more engaged with additional resources available for them online. Parents are much more enabled and empowered to see the learning design in different perspectives. They have provided a newfound appreciation for teachers, at least for me, in my experience. They have praised the teachers every day. And they said, Miss, I cannot imagine what you guys are doing, how you were able to make my child work. Miss, just take them, take them. You know, that's like a constant comment that I receive from the parents. But online learning needs to be purposeful. It is not a duplication of what we do face to face. That is what we have discovered in the past year and a half. If we're doing something similar and we're doing it online in a different format, which is online, then we are actually missing the target. It's important that we create a structure. So structures like Ganye 9 steps of instruction is there to guide us during the on-campus learning. And we saw that it was also beneficial in the virtual world. We did not reduce our curriculum expectations, and we should not reduce our curriculum expectations. As a matter of fact, we should find a way to negotiate how our time can be better used virtually. Another essential component of the development is the collaboration with the parents. That is the big aha moment for us, because now there are co-teachers and we have to recognize that they have become co-teachers. And because of this, how do we train them like how we train our co-teachers? We have decided to organize monthly parent partnerships where we inform the parents what's going to happen ahead, how they can support at home, what are the resources, to prepare them. Because mind you, a physical education class has changed rapidly because of how the parents have been involved and actually engaging in the sports themselves with the kids. And if I don't tell my parents that we're going to have, this activity, they wouldn't be, as supportive as they can. Above all, it's being more transparent for me, being readily available as a coordinator, as a teacher, as a school, constantly communicating through notes, email updates, assemblies, virtual training, informal meetings, evenings, coffee mornings, coffee evenings, and just answering all the parent queries, making them feel that there is someone who can support them, how to, upload a resource, how to install the app, how to navigate through the virtual learning platforms. The transparency and availability of the teachers and coordinators help support the learning community throughout. I see the past 1.5 years as a more positive experience for everybody. But now we are looking at the challenge of going hybrid. So I think we have gone so much into the online, it's time to open our schools up. And thank God here in India, we're able to have our grades 4 to 12 now back to school. So now there is something called the hybrid learning. So I think maybe that's the next thing that we have to look into. And to be able to do this again, I always want to look at the challenge of transparency. I was not able to really look for good resources that can help us transition to hybrid learning, because hybrid is not online and it's also not fully on site. You've got half of the kids online and half of the kids on site. So that is something else altogether. So I want to go back to the challenge of transparency, because with that in our minds, we're able to really recognize what is required. We can again invest on resources, maybe recognize that it's a new learning experience for everyone in the world, and again open our community to look at better ways to enhance learning at school. Maybe our parents can come in and give us again more ideas and support our teachers how we can open up our schools better and more safely for our community. This is an opportune moment for everyone to really authentically celebrate the learning, where every member of the school, not just the coordinators, not just the teachers, even parents, and of course the students, are excited to discover new ideas and implement them, like we are all, early learners of the school. No one is considered an expert. Everyone's participating with care and genuine design for learning.
Yeah, thank you for your inputs on the same. Some very good points that you highlighted. It's see, I've always said holistic development of any student happens through a joint effort of the school, the student, and the parent. In online sessions, we have also gone an opportunity to train the parents and to involve the parents in the child's learning. That is a very important and a very positive side of this. Parents have got involved in how the learning is happening, and that's why they are appreciating the efforts of the teachers. Now they realize how important it is and what role a teacher plays in the life of a child. Like you had experience at your school, we also had a very good experience with our schools, where parents have really appreciated the efforts the teachers have put in, and that motivates the entire education ecosystem. And so that is one of the what you say, a good benefit that we have got. Now coming back to our discussion, let me take it a little bit further. By now we have spoken about advantages and disadvantages of online learning. Now the role of a teacher in online learning and how to improve the online learning to make it more engaging. What would be the various aspects? How do we blend scholastic and post-scholastic activities and see to it that holistic development is, we try to achieve that even through the online mode? So any inputs on that from all the panelists would, really help us to improve good new techniques that we are following. Let me have Mr. Brian again to just give his inputs on the same.
Thank you, Dr. Nikhil. I think first and foremost, just to echo and support some of the points my colleagues have made, in particular, the independence of students in terms of taking ownership of their own learning has been a big development. And I think what we have to do in this situation of hybrid learning and holistic development is to harness the student voice more. So, for example, a lot of our out-of-school activities are now being led by students and being delivered by students to younger children so that we can enhance those opportunities. So the external opportunities for learning, whether it's in the arts or sports or in drama or a variety of other areas, these are all potential developments. I just want to agree with what Ms. Annabelle said about hybrid learning. This is probably the biggest challenge we've got, because teachers find it very difficult to focus either on the physical face-to-face teaching of those children in the room in front of them, and to give the same kind of support to those who are online. And until we have a relaxation of social distancing, and of course, people have the confidence that vaccination has reached a high level and that children are safe, we're going to have to deal with the hybrid learning situation, I think, for quite some time. So this is the major challenge in terms of training. Again, the good thing is getting examples from elsewhere. So when we started in our Oak Ridge schools in India to deliver these models, we had the benefit of learning from colleagues in other schools who were already doing it. So it does help to share the experience. And I think we have to have avenues and ways of dealing with that. Software is available to help. Things like in the Teams sessions, having breakout rooms, using Padlets to get people to comment on each other's work. There are pieces of software like that. And this year, we found a big benefit from introducing artificial intelligence. We're using Century Tech, and a number of other schools in India are doing the same, and there are other providers. But what that's done is to enhance personalized learning. And it's also taken pressure off teachers, because the work is done outside of school in the main. It's automatically corrected and automatically given feedback. And that report on what's happened in the learning is returned to the teacher, so they can build on what they've found out about that child's learning within the class setting. So I think we have to look at tools like that support teaching and learning, and also to give children opportunities to develop their own learning.
Absolutely. That's very good points that you have said. And that is what is most important. See, technology is always going to be a tool at the hands of the teacher. So how does she use various tools that are available to make her content more engaging, interesting, and motivating, that is up to the teacher. The autonomy of the teacher is the master of the class, and we schools should support that kind of a thing under supervised format. And the teacher can always add an element of surprise in the class which will engage the child. For example, anything like a magic show or a puppet show or some videos which would be really be very interesting for them, and they would always long to come back and attend the class regularly. A proper mix of scholastic and scholastic activity with a concept like we have in our school, we call it as learning rejuvenation. So there's a gap of 15-20 minutes between the classes where there's a lot of fun time that happens, and especially younger kids enjoy that and they come refreshed back to the next class. So something on those lines. Manju ma'am, if you could just share how your school is coping with this to keep the children engaged and motivated in learning, because it's now, like I told, more than 2 years, so it should not be monotonous.
So, yes, I think initially, of course, it was a huge challenge because delivering an online class on a scholastic was much, much easier than actually engaging children for the co-scholastic domain. And, initially when we spoke to our activity teachers or to our sports and games, the first reluctance that came from them is, then ma'am, how can we take these classes online? We are the people who work on field. We are the people who work with our hands. So, it's not possible for us to, take. And I said, let's try. Let's give it a try. Let's see if the children, how will we be able to deliver or connect with the children? And believe me, say about after 2 or 3 months, if I can say that, these teachers who were so reluctant in using technology, in their classrooms, are the one now who are playing with it, and now they're the one who are actually coming with great ideas. All our activity classes are on. We do have online yoga sessions every day for the children. We participated in Fit India Freedom Run. We were able to do. So we do have cyclothon exercises, with children are staying in society. We tell them and how they can record it. Daily physical exercises, of course, with support of the parent. Like a lot of my co-panelists have said, nothing could be possible without the support of the parents, because end of the day, we need to understand the children are at home. So small little activities, that teachers were so creative that they created, especially for my dance teacher, if I can say that. Some of them even created graphic novels, and comic strips to explain them the different mudras of the dance. So I think it was really, really exciting to see how creativity, how they were using these creative tools in making these classes so engaging. And end of the day, the parents were so happy that we are able to have, we try to do it, Dr. Nikhil, in smaller groups, because we felt that in large group it becomes difficult. So we did create smaller groups for the children, and these activity teachers would take some of the classes in the evening, because the children can't go out. It is a time when children usually go out to play, but since they were at home, so we had these activity classes. So we customized it as per the need of the parent. We did a survey with the parent. What do you think is a good time for us to do it? So I think it was a lot of collaborative effort, with help of which we were able to do, and I think the results were truly amazing.
Yeah, thank you for that inputs. It's really motivating to listen to all the success stories and what all educators are doing across the globe. Like Sir Ken Robinson had said, education is a living process, and best compared to agriculture, where the gardeners don't make the plants grow. They create conditions for them to do. Likewise, a teacher creates innovative learning environment for a child or a student to learn, and that is really very important. And this also gave us an opportunity for our educators to think, do critical thinking, do be very creative, and come up with ideas where you can reach out and connect to the students and see to it that the learning outcomes that are required are met. So it's really a very collaborative and a very excellent job that teachers have been doing. Now, let me come to Navita.
Yeah.
Let me come to Navita, ma'am. Ma'am, your inputs on how to make this online, more interesting. What your school is doing, something on those thoughts of yours?
I can, Dr. Nikhil, I can call my story a very unique story because I have a very large family, more than 5,000 children and 350 staff members. And today I can proudly say that my children, my parents, and my teachers, we are at same platform today. So I feel very good and very energetic about it that my teachers, the way they took over to online teaching, we have not left a single function which we have not done it virtually. And even our sports day, we did it in a very, because in our school we have made it mandatory for all children to participate. So virtually it was very difficult, but then we have made it possible, and I feel so proud of my management. And it was only possible if the total synergy between all the stakeholders, otherwise it's not possible. And my management, the way they came forward for the training for our teachers, and such a rigorous training we've had in this 1.5 year. And my all teachers, they have become tech savvy, and they have learned those new tools, new methodologies to make the things very interesting, so that the lessons become, the learning becomes more interesting, the functions become more interesting. So we are doing it in a very structured manner. We are having proper this training schedule for all our teachers. All our teachers are going through 50 hours of training in a year, and we make sure that each teacher gets a training, subject wise also and otherwise also, so by creating awareness to the parents regarding the cyber safety problems, regarding the health hazards about the children they can have and how they can help the children. So a lot of Zoom meetings with the parents, Zoom meeting with the children, and we have been able to organize like mock parliament. Our children are organizing all this, So I feel so proud that in spite of these problems, there are some hazards also. But because of still our children are organizing investiture ceremony. They're organizing. They came forward for. We have this. Blood donation camp every year, where they organize and they call all the parents and everybody. They came to me, ma'am, we want to organize that also. I said, Bete, that is not possible offline. We have to go offline. He said, ma'am, we'll call, we'll keep proper distance and all. I said, that's fine, but it is a COVID year. Let's not call them for blood donation. This year we can forget about. But they are so enthusiastic about it that they all now they are very familiar with this online system now, so I feel very good about it that they have picked up very soon,
Absolutely, that's very nice to hear that how your school was working offline. Maximum things you have tried to cover it online, so
Yeah.
that they don't feel that difference. But yeah, now coming to Madam Annabelle, if you could highlight something about your way of making online more engaging, or something new that you have add on to your school, which engage the children, because to keep them motivated and engaged, there has to be something that we do differently. And your take on assessments online, how do you are assessing your children, and whether the learning outcomes that are required, how do we go about that?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Nikhil. Of course, I want to resonate with Dr. Navita, Miss Navita, on synergy. It's important that every single member of the school community is on the same page. We do have a lot of really exciting events that we have to design, and I agree with you, Dr. Nikhil, that the teachers will have to design something out of the box in their lesson. So there are days when the teachers are wearing costumes, they're from home, and they have to do a tour of their own homes, and all of those creative things that they had to do to just engage the kids. And there was warm-up exercise where a child would have to do a little, running around the house, and we get the chance to really explore the family and build the relationships really nicely there. So I just want to share that our teachers really did create a lot of learning engagements, not just a lesson. It's an engagement engagement where they did not just engage the mind, they engaged the entire body, the whole body. And I am very fortunate to be able to learn more about mindfulness through the online learning to support our community. But I think the most important part is resonating with Brian's with regards to student voice. And when we begin to listen to the students, we realize they're much more creative than what we expect them to be. And we have started something called passion projects where the kids can do anything they want. They can present it any which way they want, and they can do it at home. And it doesn't have to be lined up with a certain subject. Say it has to be a math project or a science project. We've become transdisciplinary. We have broken all the walls of all the subjects and told the child, if you want to go ahead and create something out of whatever materials you have, go ahead and do it. So this is our first year to organize something called the Passion Project. And one passion project through the design thinking, of course, you can go through Stanford's design thinking protocols. That was one of the workshops that the teacher did last year where this passion project came out from. So the kids have gone through the design thinking protocol and said, Miss, I wanted to lead an assembly. And one child is going to lead the assembly on Monday. We have our school assemblies, and usually the teachers are the ones who's organizing that. What I'm really trying to highlight here is that once we open our thinking with regards to opportunities for children to explore learning with us as a co-constructor, we can allow them to run with the learning even without us there. Meaning the independent learning that has happened the past year and a half has just grown exponentially, that the teachers will have to go more than 50 hours, Ma'am Navita, with regards to training. They have. And we did a little bit of analysis of the teacher training. On a regular year, we would have 1 or 2, 3 maybe trainings in a year. It has gone up to 50. It has gone up to 60. It has gone up to more than that. Why? Because, of course, there's now an availability online. And teachers, I'm so fortunate again, always happy to say this, that even our teachers here in India started participating trainings in America. Even at 3 o'clock in the morning, when there's a convention somewhere in California, they joined in, they were a part of it, and they were shocked to see how many of the things that they're doing here are actually done there as well. So it adds into the value of what they're doing and reaffirming that, you know what, we all don't know what's happening. Let's all work together. Let's learn from each other. So that was really most valuable as well. With regards to assessment, yes, again, technologies have provided us reduced timings. You know, there are Google Forms that teachers have now started creating, and it was, you know, very easy for them to mark, and in real-time feedbacks given to the kids. Availability of annotating. Teachers don't waste paper anymore. You can write using your pen. That was just for me, again, a huge saving of resources with regards to time, and kids and parents started building better relationships with their teachers. In addition to engaging with our curriculum, we also had to build the relationships first. And for us, we can do that if we become more human. And it's impossible to actually do that when you're looking at the screen, but the effort of becoming much more yourself, because you're literally seen close by, like this close by your families. It's just there, and you don't know if the families are actually, you know, noticing your cupboard behind you or noticing you know, your whole house. That has, because of our openness, because of our goal to build the relationships with our families, I think we were able to tackle a lot of many issues that went through.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your inputs on that. Now, I will ask a very specific question to all our panelists one by one. Uh, Let me start with Mr. Brian. A very simple question: is learning happening through online mode? First, are we able to reach learning outcomes? And what would be your choice? Would you, like to continue this kind of an online education, or blended learning would be your preference, or an offline? So, as an educator, how do you perceive this? Three questions. First, is learning happening?
Mm.
Learning outcomes are we able to achieve? and what would be your choice as an educator?
Thank you very much for the question, Dr. Nikhil. It's a very interesting series of questions and very appropriate. Well, first of all, learning is definitely happening. The learning is led by the teacher and the quality of the input of the teacher, creating the framework for learning. But I couldn't agree more than with Miss Annabelle about how the independent learning has grown by young people themselves. There's no doubt about it. Learning outcomes are also being met. We've all seen, I think, quite amazing academic results, but at all ages, we're able to measure the progress that children have made. And we're very struck by the fact that some children have made 2 years progress in 1 year. And that's very striking. You can see it because of the point my colleagues were making earlier about the personalization of learning. The fact you can set individual targets, that you can break off into small groups, you can support different types of learning, and you can give different opportunities, has allowed a lot of children simply to soar. And from an educator's point of view, that's an absolute delight. But we can't lose sight of those who have not succeeded with online learning. In the same way as not everyone succeeds in the classroom when you're teaching, even although we like to think as teachers that we're getting through to every child, we find out afterwards that there are always some we haven't managed. So it's the same problem with online learning. So I think we have to look at blended learning for the future. I think we have to look at times during the week, just as Miss Annabelle was referring to passion projects. We're giving in our schools, in the Oak Ridge International Schools, choices for students, and it can be different slots of time. Would you like to do this online, or do you want to come in and do some work face-to-face on this? Would you like to do it in a different setting? So I think that has to be done so that we're not losing the benefit of the progress that those people are making online, but we're also addressing the issues face-to-face for those children who've suffered. Because we make the assumption as adults that children are always better with technology than we are. That's not true for all children. Some children just have had as much difficulty with technology as we do. And we mustn't ever lose sight of that. So it is being very much aware of this jigsaw pattern. How are we going to get different things to fit together to make sure we're getting the best for each child?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And like we say, education and learning are about human interactions, dialogue and exchange. So taking this further, Manju ma'am, if you could just answer the same question, what would be your choice, blended, hybrid, or you are okay with online system going on?
No, for sure. I mean, we would definitely love, we're all actually, in fact, waiting for the children to come back to the school. So I think the kind of, I think we need to understand when we are on the online classes, the children are missing on the social interaction. I think which is extremely important for the children, they are, because there are a lot of learning that happens in a very informal kind of an environment. A lot of learning happens, outside the classroom. I mean, if you remember, I think a lot of what we remember today is not what we learned probably in the physics or a chemistry class. I think we all remember, all what we did outside our classrooms. So I think that kind of an interaction is extremely important, and I think that is what is being missed, during an online classes. But as I said, we can have an excellent blend of both, since we now have an experience of having, online classes. So, I think the future would be for either for hybrid or, you can call it any name. It depends on the convenience and the resources that the school have. It could be hybrid. It could be broadcasting of your, But one thing that I would like to add over here, I think now the schools have got an opportunity to create their own knowledge portal, because now we have so much of material, that we can save and probably use it for our children. So I think that is there had been some very interesting learning also in the online, and I think we should not leave them behind. You should take it along with the physical classes, whenever it is. It will be a new normal, to have these blended classes. I think that's how I look forward. So more of digital, but having said that, I think since I'm a person of a little old thought, still feel that technology is only a tool, and it is the pedagogy which is more important for any school to achieve the learning outcomes. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree with you. Technology is just a tool, and like I said, the teacher is the main person who should use the technology for the benefit of the child. Coming back to Navita, ma'am, your closing remarks as we are approaching time. Time is limited. Your closing remarks on what would be your choice first about online learning, and also if you could highlight some challenges that are there as far as online learning goes. Ma'am, you are not audible. I think it's on.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I second Manjuji, because I feel yes, we have learned a lot in these 1.5 years, and we must take it along. I also believe in blended kind of learning today. I feel offline learning is very important, but even online we cannot leave it. Without online also, it will not be possible for us to, because we have learned a lot. Regarding the challenge, I feel my biggest challenge, what I have faced, is assessment. I've not been able to assess the children actually, because children with values, their parents, they still call me up and they tell me, ma'am, please don't assess their assignments because they've cheated. But there are many parents who are helping their children. So I don't get to know whether the children have actually learned, or what level the child is. So that is my biggest challenge. Assessment is my biggest challenge. There is no foolproof device that has, anybody has discovered. If anybody has got any idea about the assessment, please share it with us, because I have not been able to do this foolproof assessment with my children, that.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I think some of our panelists would love to write to you regarding assessments, because there are
Yeah.
various options that are available. And if your
Yes.
school system can explore, you can really take this ahead. Now, Miss Annabelle, your closing remarks on this panel discussion.
Thank you so
And
much,
if any
Dr. Nikhil.
challenges and if any challenges you think the online learning has.
Yes, I just want to extend what Manju ma'am said with regards to teacher capacity. I think it was in 1994 where there was John Hattie's research on learning, and your question was mostly on, is learning really happening? Luckily, naturally, we can learn very well, even if we don't actually have a teacher. So that's just a natural human capacity. But if we highlight collective teacher efficacy, if we highlight the teacher's capacity more than everything else, everything will fall better into place. Of course, we also have to make sure that student expectations are high in our priority list. The accountability of our teachers is something that should be at the forefront of every decision making. And not just the accountability of the teachers, also the
Right.
accountability of the parents, the accountability of the students. If we make that transparent, if we make that at the core of what we do, I think it goes back again to the concept of agency, being responsible in our own learning. The last 3 months, we have been looking at accountability and how that translates to a parent, how that translates, of course, to us as a school, and of course to the students at the end. The challenge will also be there with other elements of learning, but I think if we put accountability at the core of what we do, it becomes much more relevant. Our decisions will become much more relevant and significant. I want to go back again to what I said initially with regards to transparency. Because with that in our minds, we were able to recognize mistakes and make mistakes, even recognize that it is a new learning experience for everyone, in the world, and openly invite our colleagues here and abroad, our parents, our students, to engage in thoughtful inquiry. If we have an issue with assessment, we can go ahead and bring in the stakeholders and say, this is our issue. We are being transparent. This is a concern. We would like everybody to come in. Let's go ahead and design a better learning environment, because this is the accountability of the school. This is a responsibility that we would like everybody to be aware of. It is becoming more open-minded to take the suggestions forward and actually looking at every single stakeholder's perspective as we move forward. This is not going to be the same as before. If we start thinking, okay, it's going to go back to normal, we don't know what that normal is like now. So we'll have to move forward with everybody on board. And thank you once again, everyone. I learned a lot. Yes.
Thank you. In fact, you put it very rightly. Online learning was to a certain extent forced on the entire education ecosystem, but now it has become an asset. So whenever, even if we go to normal teaching, this is going to always be there. We can use it as a flip class. We can use it in various modes that will benefit the children. So whatever situation we are in, the conclusion of this panel debate, what I can sum up, and if anybody disagrees, he can just interrupt me. Online learning is good. Online learning is happening. We are able to achieve the learning outcomes, and online learning is going to stay for a longer time with us, either in form of hybrid or blended or any other form, but it's going to be an integral part of the education ecosystem worldwide. I have everybody agreeing on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. You have been a fantastic panel. It was a pleasure having an interactive session with you. Thank you very much for sparing your valuable time.
Thank you so much.
Ashutosh.
Thank you, sir. Well moderated session, and I think all the discussion topics covered in this panel discussion. And really, I would like to thank all the panelists to giving their inputs on this trendy topic. So now I would like to ask my colleague Deepak, please present the speaker memento to all the panelists. This is for Ben Cooklin, sir, Managing Director, Nord Anglia Education. Thanks for coming, sir.
Thank you very much.
And again, this is for Manju Rana, ma'am, Principal cum Director, Seth Anandram, Jaipuria School, Ghaziabad. Thanks for coming and joining us.
Thank you.
And this is for Annabelle, ma'am, a primary school principal, Lancer International School, Gurgaon.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
And this is for Navita Puri, ma'am, principal, Kundan Vidya Mandir, Ludhiana. Thanks
so
for joining
much.
us, ma'am.
Thank you.
And this is for Dr. Nikhil Wagh, Chairman, Educon International School, Pune. Thanks for coming
Thank
and wonderful moderation, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashutosh. Thank you.
So again, I thank all of you for this last session of this summit, and it was a really wonderful session. So after this, we have award ceremony. So I requesting you to all join the award ceremony at 6 p.m. So till then, namaste to all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashutosh. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Ashutosh.
much. Have a
Thank you,
good
Dr.
day,
Nikhil.
everyone.
Yeah.
Nice meeting.
Yes. Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.